I've been broke, been bruised, been used. Had folks talking like they know my shoes. Ain't no saint, I've raised some hell, but I learned my peace where my demons dwell. I quit chasing ghosts that don't pay rent, quit worrying about the ones who went. Now I walk my road, dust on my boots, singing my truth, whatever it roots. Cause I don't give a damn who don't like me. This world spins fast and time ain't free. We're all just sparks in the midnight sky, fading out slow, saying goodbye. So pour that whiskey, let it burn fine. Laugh at the scars that proof I'm alive. We're all just living on borrowed time.
Hey y'all, it's Courtney filling in for my dad. And today, we're not talking opinions, we're talking paperwork. Let's start with what's on the documents. This first indictment is 2020 C-55430A, filed in Houston County. That indictment was later nolle pros, meaning dismissed, and the paperwork clearly says it was re-indicted under a new indictment number. That new indictment number is 2021-C-56788-A. So right there, we already know this case wasn't one continuous charge. It was dismissed and then brought back under a different indictment. Now, here's where things get confusing. Before any of this Houston County paperwork, Dexter Williams was arrested in Bibb County and was in custody in Bibb County. That matters, because while he's in custody in Bibb County, the next day, a warrant appears out of Houston County. So let's slow that down. If Dexter was already locked up in Bibb County, how is Houston County issuing a warrant for him the very next day? If the alleged crime happened in Houston County could have arrested him directly. And if the alleged crime happened in Bibb County, then Bibb County would be the county with jurisdiction. But the warrant itself doesn't clearly say Houston County at the top of the charge. It just says State of Georgia. That's important because warrants are supposed to be tied to where the crime allegedly happened, not just the state in general. Now let's move forward in time. Bibb County later confirms in writing that their charge was dismissed on April 8th. So here's the next question. If Bibb County dismissed this charge on April 8th, how does a Houston County warrant still stand for the same underlying situation? How can someone be charged in two places when one county has already dropped the charge? And there's one more thing the paperwork shows. When this case went forward, Bibb County didn't show up. No testimony, no evidence presented, no chain of custody, no experts, nothing. So if there was an alleged arrest involving evidence in Bibb County, where was it? Why wasn't it presented in court? Those aren't accusations. Those are questions raised by the documents themselves. And when the state keeps saying this case is all about procedure, it's fair to ask, why are procedural rules only being enforced on one side? Because when you line the paperwork up, the arrest, the custody, the dismissals, and the re-indictments, it starts to look like the pot calling the kettle black. So let's go to the paperwork. This first order is dated January 5th, 2021. It's titled Denial of Statutory Demand for Speedy Trial. In that order, the court denies Dexter Williams' speedy trial demand under OCGA Section 17-7-170, relying on statewide judicial emergency orders during COVID. The court's position at that time was clear, that jury trials were suspended, deadlines were told, and the speedy trial clock did not run. That's the ruling. Now let's fast forward. This second document is titled Order Identifying Misstatement by the Court in Prior Ruling. And this is important because this isn't the defense saying there was an error. This is the court itself saying it made one. In this later order, the court admits that it wrongly assumed that no jury trials took place during the entire judicial emergency period. The court specifically acknowledges that its prior statement that juries were not impaneled before June 30th, 2021 was wholly inaccurate. Those are the court's words. The court goes on to explain that jury trials did, in fact, resume at the discretion of trial courts, depending on local conditions. So let's pause right there. On January 5th, 2021, the court denied a statutory speedy trial based on one set of assumptions. Later, the same court issues an order saying those assumptions were wrong. When a defendant files a notice of appeal, authority over that issue moves to the appellate court. The trial judge even acknowledges that, stating, quote, "This court is without authority to modify such order." But then, while the appeal is pending, the same judge issues an order addressing the very issue under appeal. He says he can't modify it, but still responds to it. That's not opinion. That's what the record shows. Appeal filed. Authority transferred. Judge admits no authority. Judge still speaks.
All right, y'all, let's bring this home. This whole Dexter Williams case, it's a classic example of the pot calling the kettle black. The system wants to talk about procedures when it's convenient for them. They delayed Dexter's speedy trial, they blamed COVID, and they said, hey, it's all about procedural rules. But when it's their turn to follow the same rules, suddenly there's a justification for everything. They made factual mistakes and then said, oh, it's no big deal, even though the law is clear. A judge can't just fix a factual mistake on a whim once an appeal is filed. Yet here we are, with the judge admitting he has no authority because Dexter appealed and then turning around and commenting anyway. It's like, what's going on here? And let's not forget Bibb County never even showed up at trial. They arrested this man in one county, then got a warrant in another county the next day. We proved the magistrate judge can't issue a warrant outside their jurisdiction. But they did it anyway, and now they're playing cat and mouse with the paperwork. They dismissed, re-indicted, and convicted him in a whirlwind, skipping the original predicate acts that are required for a RICO conviction. So here's the bottom line. This isn't just about Dexter Williams. It's about making sure the rules are followed fairly for everyone. My dad always says you gotta keep things real, and that's what we're doing. Dexter's a dad and a granddad, just like a lot of folks out there. So let's keep sharing this story, let's keep the conversation going, and let's make sure justice is really just. Thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to subscribe and stay with us for the next segment. Courtney out.